It's at this time we've come to the public commentary portion of our meeting. I ask anyone who would like to come forward with any public commentary or query to do so. Announce your name and address and keep your comments to under 5 minutes. Anyone?
Melanie Hostetter, 21 Linfield Drive. I just wanted to ask a few questions. Recently in my neighborhood, one of the streets was had some cracks sealed, and I noticed that while that's a good project, I noticed that some of the roads have potholes. And the other thing I wanted to bring up also was the sidewalks. I live in Butterworth. Sidewalks, some of them are really hard to walk on. And while for me as an adult it's fine, but when there are kids, walking, it's not safe for them to be in the street. So really my question comes down to is, how are the priorities determined for road and sidewalk repair? And also if there's a protocol, or is it written just to understand why one road gets the work and other roads don't? Or sidewalks, how do you, what's your process for fixing the sidewalks in the neighborhoods?
I'll deal with the first. We have a road evaluation system. It is a formula based out of Rutgers. Each year, every single road in the township, all 170 miles, gets evaluated as to what their rating is. And from that, we have a certain amount of money to appropriate towards the repaving of the roadways. So the ones that are deteriorating down around, about 50% get the highest priority. So we'll go through that, and then we'll determine how much money we have, and then we'll give out the contract for that. We have about 15 roads that are going to be repaved this year, and that work will begin in August. And then we also have several reconstruction projects for roads that need major repairs, such as the project for Picatinny Road and upcoming Cadena Road. And the crack sealing program is also another program that we have. It's the same database in trying to extend the life of the roadways by filling in those cracks.
Okay. So there's priority versus for potholes versus cracks, or?
Well, potholes we'll deal with as you have a pothole. If you report it to us, you can go on our website. There's actually a part of it there. It's a report of concern. There's actually one for potholes, and it'll get it addressed within that week if you report a pothole to address that.
Is that so? Is that information on the website?
Yes, it is.
It is?
Mm-hmm. If you look on the left-hand side, there's a column called Report of Concern, and you can click on there. If you bring up, it'll show you potholes, or you can call our Department of Public Works or the Administrator's Office and report that, and we will do that.
And the sidewalks, how do you evaluate those?
Those are owner responsibilities they were put in like up in Butterworth like 50 to 60 years ago, but they are on the owner's property. But if there's a major issue, we will address it.
Because there are some that are covered with grass that have probably been decades, I don't know,
Decades
that
old.
haven't been addressed, and so that's something that maybe the township can, address in some way.
We've done an evaluation of what it would cost to replace all the asphalt sidewalks that were built in the 50s and 60s and early 70s, and the estimated cost is well over $3 million to replace those.
Right. But is there a way, do you go around and just say something to the people who are owners of the sidewalk?
Yes, we do. If we get complaints, we address it with the homeowners.
Oh, okay. So you wait for a complaint
For those kinds of things, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Evening, Madam
Good
Chairman.
evening. Kathy Wilson, 20 Beechwood Drive. I have a couple of questions and comments about an article that I saw recently in the Madison Eagle online, and it's about an upcoming meeting of public officials to address traffic concerns on Route 24 and the intersection of Columbia and Park. So I was glad to see that it's a closed meeting, public officials. I was glad to see that it includes a cross-section of levels of government, including state, federal, local. It includes the Department of Transportation Commissioner, Richard Hammer, Rodney Frelinghuysen, Senator Dick Cody, State Senator Anthony Bucco, Assemblyman Tony Bucco, Assemblyman John McKeon, and Assemblyman Mila Jacey, as well as several mayors from local municipalities, including the mayors of Florham Park, Chatham Township, Harding Township, East Hanover Township, Hanover Township, Morris Township, and Morristown. So I was really glad to see a bringing together of people from cross sections of government and many different municipalities locally. My questions are, I notice Mr. Caffrey is on the list of people invited. I assume that you're planning to attend?
At this point, I'm not sure. My business schedule may interfere, but there will be somebody here on this dais that will be there in my place.
I think that's very important.
What's that?
Mr. Slate from Engineering.
And Mr. Slate from Engineering will also be present.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. Also, there was reference in the article about this group is going to be addressing plans that the state has prepared plans to create a direct access route from 24 East to Park Avenue. Is this, I know there was talk of this in the past, is this the same thing or something different, or is this what's going to be
Same thing.
discussed?
This has been ongoing discussions for the last several years. This is not something that new with just getting the players together. And, but this has been ongoing for a number of years and dealing with the traffic issues at that intersection.
Yeah, obviously it's a concern. The one thing, there was also a comment by one of the mayors in here about traffic being generated by the Honeywell site, and I wanted to comment on that. I do remember reading the traffic report, which was extensive, and I believe it was part of the site development traffic study that was done. I couldn't find the report, so I don't have it. But what really stood out to me from that report is that, it talks about it's already a failing intersection, it's projected to deteriorate further, but the primary cause of the ongoing, deterioration of the intersection is not traffic coming from the Honeywell site. It's traffic coming from across the street, across Park Avenue, from all this development that's been okayed and in progress on the Florham Park side, including hundreds of townhomes, a hotel, a medical center, and other things. And this is a concern. And my comment, I guess, is that there's nothing like traffic, to make you realize interdependence. Traffic does not obey the political boundaries. And this is an example. I'm glad to see this meeting where we have a coming together of leaders from different levels of government and different municipalities to address traffic issues. I think that's a really important part of dealing with traffic issues. So I'm glad to see that.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public care to make comment?
Move to close the public portion, Mr. Mayor.
And your second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.